If you think this makes me ignorant, cool. If your life is just overflowing with joy and peace and success because you are so informed, then you keep doing you, boo-boo. But I look at the people who are obsessed with staying updated and in the loop with global politics and current events, and their lives are full of anxiety, stress, and burnout. So forgive me if I do not want to be a part of that club. No one is going to convince me that watching the news and being a well-informed citizen is helpful. If anything, it is ruining people's lives. Look at the people who are glued to the news. I don't know, maybe you're one of them. Versus people who make it a priority to unplug and to remain as unplugged as possible. Who is thriving between those two? We were not designed to take in this much information and to be able to prioritize this much information. If you look at evolution, we came from tribal societies where we probably knew 100 people maximum, and maybe not even that well, but we recognized 100 different people. We had a very localized awareness, and that's what we're designed for. I'm sorry, anybody wants to argue with this? We have not evolved beyond that. It doesn't happen that fast. We were not meant to take in horror stories from every continent 24/7. Your nervous system wasn't designed for global scale anxiety. And most of what you know, all the stuff that you're consuming on the nightly news, or even different podcasts. I know people that say, oh, I get all my news from like specific podcasts and stuff. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You have this obsession with being informed, and it's all attached to your ego. It's like this, you feel superior being, well, I'm well informed. Oh, it's irresponsible to not know what's going on in the world. Nah, fuck that. Most of what you know, it does not affect your day-to-day life. I look at the people that I know that are obsessed with consuming this type of information, and I'm like, how has their life benefited in a way that mine hasn't, because I never paid attention to the shit? There's not a single way that they've benefited. In fact, they have suffered consequences. They have taken on the negative energy and the fear and the anxiety and the stress and the worry and the hatred and anger and aggression and vitriol. They've taken all of that energy and emotion on inside their body. They're being affected by that. I'm not. The news is engineered to keep you in fear. If you don't realize this yet, I don't know. You're not paying attention. Fear is the easiest way to manipulate people. And this goes into, like, we could get into energetics and occult knowledge, like the Kabbalah and Hermeticism and Freemasonry and all of these secret society, hidden knowledge, Illuminati, all of these groups. They know about energy. That is what it's all about, is manipulating energy, because that is how you control people. That's how you can control yourself and your own life. That's how you can manifest and create what you want at will. But it's also how you control other people and manipulate other people, because you know how to manipulate these lower, and I say lower not in a like less than, better or worse or whatever, but these lower vibration emotions that are super easy to manipulate. Fear lowers your vibration, like your overall vibration, your homeostasis. If you are constantly in a state of fear, that's where you're vibrating at. That's your frequency. Think about it, right? Like radio waves, your frequency. So if that's what you're consuming and taking in, that becomes you. That's the energy you're sending out into the world. And then that is what you're going to resonate with. Like, your experience is going to match the frequency that you're existing on. Sorry, this is not woo-woo. So if you think it is, that's really unfortunate for you in your future, to be honest. Sensationalized negativity creates a false reality that everybody believes because they see it on the television screen. You think the world is crumbling. You think you're in danger. You think that there's a threat lurking behind every corner. But look outside. Open the door, step outside, take a walk, get some deep breaths in, and realize that it is beautiful out there and everything is okay. You're safe. You have to be able to recognize if this is you recognize what this false sense of danger has done to you. Recognize if you're constantly dealing with heightened anxiety, with paranoia, with distrust, and with always assuming the worst outcome, or always going to potential outcomes that are negative. Like that's your default, is to assume the worst. All of that comes from that kind of programming that you get from consuming negative content all the time. Divisive content, whatever it is. Like even so much of the identity politics content that I talked about in one of my other videos, so much of that is just creating all of these lower emotions inside of you. It's all done intentionally to get you in a state where you are weak and easily manipulated and controlled. You are not safer, you're not smarter, and you're not more moral because you watch the news. Tell me what has actually changed in your life. I'll wait. Because you're not taking any action. You're not changing anything. You're just doom scrolling on your phone. There's literally nothing good that comes from it. You think that you're preemptively preparing for some devastating event that's surely coming, but good thing you're going to be prepared for it. Here's the thing though. You're not going to be prepared for it no matter what, because even if it does come, you're not going to know when it's coming. And to think that having known about it beforehand is going to change the outcome at all, it's not. You're going to be in the same situation that I'm in. Me, the person that didn't have a clue that it was coming, wasn't prepared at all. We are going to be in the same situation. So this is an ego trap that convinces you that you're better because you're informed, but doesn't actually make you effective or impactful or wise. You also must realize that it's draining your energy and it's destroying your reality. Energy is everything, okay? It's your mood. It's your perception of life. It is your manifestation. It is what you experience in this world. It's everything about your reality. It's your body. It's everything. Energy is everything. And what you consume creates your emotional state, especially in the way of information, interactions, but also food. What you consume affects your emotional state. But really, we make meaning out of words. And so that affects our emotional state so much. So that's why I say it's the information, the content that you're consuming, the interactions with other people, the relationships that are creating your emotional state. And your emotional state is your life. It just is. Constant negativity is going to rewire your brain. It will damage your body and it will create disease, dis-ease, a lack of ease in the body. If you want to know more about that, there's an abundance of information on it. Lots of good books. Gabor Mate, When the Body Says No. Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. Louise Hay, Heal Your Body, Heal Your Life. There's a really awesome book called The Subtle Body. It's kind of like a textbook on energy, the subtle body. And that's another really good one to learn about the connection between emotions and the physical body and just energy in general. That one's a little more spiritual based, woo-woo, so I don't know if you're into that or not, but it's an option. The point is that if you actually understood how energy worked, you would protect yours like your life depended on it, because it does. If you understood how much it impacts what shows up in your life, it literally dictates it 100%. You would never allow someone, anything, any entity to control you like that when you don't have to. You are in control. You can be in control. You get to choose what you take in. You would protect it so much. It would be the most important thing in the world to you. You can't be plugged into chaos and expect peace to manifest in your life. So you say that you want joy and you want freedom and you want abundance. Stop watching a bunch of content that's rooted in scarcity, control, hatred, and fear. Ask yourself, do these feelings align with the life that I want? Most people, they never ask that. They just consume mindlessly, and then they wonder why they're miserable and why they feel so negative and so pessimistic and so hopeless. Always, when you're consuming anything, any information, ask yourself, do these emotions represent the way that I want to feel? What actually changes your life is you changing your life. Worry about yourself. Worry about your relationships. Worry about your community. Worry about your friends, your family, your clients, your business, your immediate environment. You don't need to worry about everybody else, okay? You're not the savior. Like, lose the savior complex that you need to be well informed because we need to help the underserved population here and we need to save the disadvantaged people in that country. No, you don't. Worry about your own life. Have you even got that under control? What are you doing worrying about other people on another continent who couldn't give two shits who you are or anything about your life and wouldn't be coming to your rescue if you were in need? Like, get over yourself. What helps you and your family and your life and your community more? You watching hours of coverage on the nightly news, or you showing up as a grounded and loving and present human being? People are so worried about changing something at such a broad scale and having some huge impact. They fail to realize that the impact is made by just focusing on your own life and changing your own life and the way that you show up there. That's how you have this ripple effect and you impact society at large, the global society. Unplug yourself from the matrix. You're not informed. You are addicted to fear. If you replaced all of the fear porn with fun and play, your life would do a 180. You definitely weren't meant to carry the emotional weight of every disaster on the planet. Our systems, nervous, emotional, and spiritual, cannot process this much shit. So it's not maturity. It's overload. It is trauma on a drip feed. The more afraid that you are, the more that you are going to look for protection. Enter the government, institutions, leaders, systems. And the message is always, you can't survive without us. They pump you full of stories about destruction, chaos, abuse, hatred. And then they tell you, don't worry, we've got you. We're going to show you how to stay safe. We'll protect you. That is not information or protection. That is psychological warfare. And most people are too numb to realize that they are addicted to it. The world is not as dark as they say it is. And what you really have to realize is that the more you consume fear, the more that fear becomes your reality. That doesn't mean that bad things don't exist, okay? Let's not get into a debate about that. But it means that your perception is being hijacked. Because when you're in fear, your lens gets very narrow. You start seeing threats where there aren't any. Suddenly, everything feels dangerous. Everyone feels evil, and every moment feels tense. Short intermission, like 2 seconds, from not our sponsor, LaCroix Strawberry Peach. Meanwhile, people who aren't watching the news are out here building beautiful lives. They're traveling, they're creating stuff, they're laughing, they're playing, they're connecting, they are living. Same planet, you guys, different reality. And what changed? Not the world, just where they put their attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Being well informed does not help you at all. Let's stop pretending that that's doing anything for you. You're paying attention. You're responsible. You're playing your part. You're doing your civic duty. But what are you actually doing with all that information? Nothing. You're spiraling. You're going on rants on social media, finding people to get pissed at, finding people to hate, finding people to argue with. People convince themselves that they need to know everything so that they feel in control, but the control is totally fake. It's an illusion. The reality is you're more afraid, and fear doesn't make you a better citizen. It actually puts you in a far more vulnerable position. You wouldn't let somebody walk into your house and scream violent things at you all day, would you? But you'll sit there and let your screen do it all day, every day. You cannot manifest peace from a place of panic. You cannot attract abundance while your mind is drowning in scarcity. Your energy is sacred, and you have to start treating it that way. Not to mention, this shit will literally make you sick. It's not just bad vibes. This is biology. Chronic stress and fear destroy your nervous system. They spike your cortisol and they weaken your immune system. This means disease, exhaustion, burnout, depression. You weren't made to live in a state of constant global vigilance. It isn't noble. It's self-destruction. Ask yourself, is this aligned with the life I want? If I want joy and peace and love and connection and beauty and play, what am I doing consuming the opposite? Does this content, this information, reflect how I want to feel in my body? Does it make me a better friend, a better partner, a better creator? Is it aligned with who I want to be and what I want to build? You have to be able to admit to yourself that you're trying to attain peace in your life, but you're constantly feeding your mind war, war, war. You don't change the world by knowing about every fire, every war, every tragedy, or every protest. You change your life by being present in it with your people, your community and family and friends, in your body, in your purpose, in your lane. The real impact in your life is going to come from your energy. So you need to be protecting that like it is the most delicate and rare, valuable thing that exists, because it is. Focus on your life right now. That is where your power is, not in headlines on the news. Most people probably wouldn't classify this as an addiction, but ask yourself if you could go 30 days without consuming this content. Do you have the willpower to do it? Even if I promised you that you would not become uninformed and that you would actually become free, I still think most people wouldn't be able to do it. Because sadly, most people have no idea what their natural frequency feels like without the world screaming at them. So I don't know, maybe give it a try. Maybe reclaim your own nervous system and your own mind. You would be shocked at how quiet your mind gets, how safe your body feels, and how alive you feel when you're not participating in some external fear story. And while you're out there enjoying your life, give someone a hug, because if you didn't know, the world we live in has also convinced us that we all need to stay 6 feet apart, and we're all contaminated, contagious, and full of germs and disease. It's actually a load of BS, and you should probably watch this video next. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!